This is our third year in the Modern Learning Project. From the very beginning, our question focused on how to best engage students at Lake Wilcox. This year, we used Engagement by Design as our mentor text. Our focus was on the balanced model of optimal learning and the importance of relationships between teachers and students.
So in continuing the great work that took place last year and looking at school climate data, we noticed that our students weren't feeling a sense of belonging towards the school. So we went through a process in which all classes, pictures were established and put on sheets of paper, and based on criteria, and that criteria for what we engage student-teacher relationships where students felt that teachers cared for them, that they were a mentor, and that they understood their hopes and interests, and that was the criteria that was established. And teachers then went around and put stickers or stickies under each student name, as well as students who are also involved in extracurricular activities or clubs. And what we noticed was that there were some students that didn't have any stickers, and therefore those are students that didn't have the necessary relationship or relationships to feel belonging, as well as that relationship to be engaged. So each educator then selected students that they were then going to purposefully, intentionally make a connection with and describe and have conversations of things outside of school context.
We tried establishing trusting relationships with our students by using the 2x10 strategy. Staff would have 2-minute conversations for 10 consecutive days with students, talking about things that are not related to school or school life.
Building a relationship with my students using the 2x10 strategy has enabled me to get them to know them better as a person as well as a learner. This has enabled me to be mindful when I'm planning lessons, to be making sure that I'm planning authentic experiences for them, because I've gotten to know what their interests are outside of school, what they like to do, and how they like to learn. I can also connect this back to the work that we've been doing with the principles of engagement through John Almarode, and giving student voice and choice is also going to increase their engagement level, which is the purpose of our Modern Learning Project today.
The conversations are going great. I've selected 2 students from my own class, so we've been trying to talk about things that are not related to the curriculum, are not related to school, and how that's helped out is that it's allowed me to get to know the students a little bit better. In getting to know my students better, I've figured out, for example, that they are more tech savvy, that they're into technology and social media, and so what we've done is we've included activities like podcasting, where we're trying to establish and begin our own podcast channel. And that's allowed us to explore different subject matters in more innovative ways, as well as allowing them to express student voice and getting them more engaged in the topics at hand.
What have you noticed with Andrew?
Well, at first he was really shy, and he was quite hard to get an in with. And then once I just had a bit more of a different lens and focus, I found that in the mornings I started going up to him and just trying to find some sort of interest that he had. And as soon as I found he had this interest in Batman and superheroes, I felt like that was kind of my lead-in that helped him open up to me. And now he'll actually approach me in the play yard, and I see him actually developing really good relationships with other people in your class too. Awesome. Do you find that?
Yes. Yeah. So he's definitely come out of his shell a lot more.
Yeah. So.
But I think having the interactions with other adults is important too.
For sure. And he's not as shy. Like before he was really shut down and reserved, and now he comes in, he's smiling in the morning and says hello, and so I feel like we've had really big leaps with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How are you?
Same with your student. At first she barely responded when I said hi to her. She kind of just kept walking and looking at me thinking, who's this? And then the more we do stuff in the hall together, the more we go on our wonder walks, the more I've tried to have some conversations with her, and it's become a lot better. This morning we had a great conversation in the hallway, and now she looks for me and says, hi, Mrs. Edwards. Mm-hmm. So it's great. It's good.
Yeah, so they're not being lost, and that, which is so nice. But I think it's taking that time and focus to you know,
It
be
is
able to see
focusing-
the more introverted kids
For sure.
that might not be able to build the same relationships, trying to seek them out and just have simple conversations.
Yeah, and being aware of who they are so that we go out of our way too. Like that was
Mhm.
pretty important.
And then they feel comfortable.
When we were asked to select 2 students as part of our 2x10 initiative, I did so intentionally. I selected one student from my own classroom who tended to be fairly quiet and keep to themselves, and I also selected a student from the grade prior to mine, so a grade 6 student, so that I could get to know them a little bit better and try and forge a relationship prior to them entering grade 7. I understand the importance of building relationships with students and staff that I interact with. I found that this process really has made me reflect on the conversations that I have with others. I definitely make a point of saying hello to students in the hall and to staff and wishing them a good afternoon at the end of the day as well, just so that I know that I have done my part to make sure that they feel welcome and valued and safe in the learning environment and working environment that we're in.
Working with students in the ASD community class, one of our biggest focuses is just looking at fostering student relationships, and not only the relationships between us and our students, but also between our students and other kids in the school. We really want to boost inclusivity, acceptance, and understanding throughout Lake Wilcox, and we do that in a lot of ways, and one of the ways we do it on a weekly basis is through our social club.
So Lake Wilcox, we are actually very fortunate. We get to run a social club in our school. We try to incorporate it with other students from the school that are sort of at risk, and we try to do that through running cooperative games, simple cooperative games that kids can actually leave and sort of leave the school and go out for recess time and use those skills that they learned in social club to interact with their friends and maybe maintain relationships, not only within a social club, but maybe when they move about the hallways or when they go to integration classes, or if they go up at recess and they play those games. We try to make sure it's as common and as easy as possible for them to maintain relationships.
One of the coolest things that we see through social club is when we look for volunteers at the beginning of the year, we get all these amazing kids, different ages, different grades, different abilities from all around the school, and they come together and they play together and they accept each other's differences, and it's just a beautiful thing for all the kids to be a part of, and it really builds a cool culture here at Lake Wilcox. And as part of that, every year during Autism Awareness Month, we get the kids from social club and other kids from all around the school to help put on our Autism Awareness Assembly. And this year we really focused on inclusivity, understanding, and helping each other with our challenges. And we got together with all these kids. Some were musicians, some weren't, and we all performed a song and put on a really cool assembly. And we decided to film it to share with you today.
Enjoy.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry lean on. We all need somebody to lean on. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call your brother when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. Just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a law you have to bear, but you can carry. I'm right on the road, and I'll share your load. If you just call me, 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 call me. Light a fire, I got a little shine. This little light of mine, I got a little shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Woo! Ah, good job, green 5. Knuckles?
We all have things.
Lean on me.
When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean